10-second mark.
Well, hi, guys. How are you? Welcome to our Week 4 NFL live stream for Betting Pros. Andrew Erickson, Matt Perrault with you guys for the next 30, 40 minutes. Heading up to kickoff of the early games. Obviously, one game underway right now. Desmond Ridder is doing his best to, lose the starting job for the Falcons because that offense looks horrific with him running it. We got basketball news. The Celtics got Drew Holiday. Let's go. Good Sunday morning to you guys. How are you, Andrew? Great to see you. Let's make some money here today. What's going on for you on this Sunday?
I'm feeling good. Yo, Celtics making a splash move. We love to see that. I was back in the Jaguars, so hopefully they can get this game going, finish it off. Bijan Robinson over in the first half on his receiving yards prop. We're feeling profitable already heading into Sunday, into the morning game, so excited to be here.
Yeah, I got a lot of games to get into. This is a fascinating, very difficult slate, given the number of games that we have, which is under one possession for lines, and the number of totals that are under 45. I mean, the league, if we see what we might, or at least what the books are projecting, offense, if you're a DFS player or a season-long fantasy player, might be hard to come by here in terms of points because we got a lot of games with very low totals here. But the one game we'll start with is the game with the largest total of the day, and that is the Dolphins and the Bills. Arguably the best game on the slate here. 53 is the total for this one. Depending on the book, the number opened up at 3.5 Buffalo. It's 2.5 or 3 here on this one. I'm back in the Bills. I know people are back in the Dolphins. I can't argue it too heavily, but where are you, Andrew, on Bills, Dolphins?
I'm on the Dolphins, Matt. I'm fading you on this pick. I know that you've been cold in the NFL to start the year, so this is where I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going Miami. I think that we saw what they did last year when they went up to Buffalo in much tougher conditions with a third-string quarterback, and they almost won outright. So I'm going to back the Dolphins here. Until someone stops this offense, I'm just going to keep backing them.
So the Bills are 9-1 straight up against the Dolphins over the last 10 games playing at home. This is a split to me. I think this is one of those situations where Miami loses in Buffalo. They win at home against the Bills later on in the season. I'll be very curious to see what the Dolphins defense looks like against the Bills. That to me is the key. I don't mind a play on the over, but after what happened last week and how well the Bills played against the Commanders, 34 points the Chargers scored already on this Dolphins defense. And, that was at home for the Chargers. Same thing here for the Bills at home. Weather conditions should be pretty good. Anything prop-wise, because I think a Raheem Mostert anytime touchdown might be getting my play here today.
Yeah, so from the touchdown perspective, I love Dawson Knox. Anytime touchdown, first team touchdown. Like, Josh Allen loves targeting him in the red zone. Like, that's his guy, Dawson Knox. So I think there's a little bit of underneath. Miami's going to kind of play a little back off coverage. So I think the tight ends are going to be able to open up and eat underneath. And then rushing, James Cook. James Cook is third in the NFL in rushing yards. And you can find his prop. I think we talked about it on the BettingPros podcast show earlier this week. It's like 56.5 yards. Like, you look at McCaffrey and Tony Pollard, those guys lead the NFL in rushing yards, respectively, 1 and 2. Those guys' props are around like 70, 75 rushing yards. And you have Cook down at this really low number when Miami's been shredded on the ground whenever teams have been able to run the ball. It's just they've been winning in all their games. So teams haven't had the opportunity where in this game, I expect it at least back and forth. So I don't think that the Bills are going to get away from the run game. James Cook can rip it off in one big play. So I like Cook over on his rushing yards.
Well, that takes us to an announcement. Perfect timing here because the winner of the autographed James Cook Buffalo Bills jersey, courtesy of us here at Betting Pros, is Jeremy Lee. Jeremy Lee, if you're watching or if somebody tips you off and says, hey, you won, please get in touch with our customer support agents at mailbag@bettingpros.com with your mailing address and proof of your subscription to the Betting Pros YouTube channel, and you will get that jersey shipped right out to you. Again, the winner of the James Cook Buffalo Bills jersey is Jeremy Lee. I would say, hey, if Jeremy Lee, you won, you may want to go ahead and bet on James Cook today. You might get a double whammy there with winning his autographed jersey, and he might win you some money here on a prop bet perspective. So very cool. Congratulations to Jeremy Lee for winning that autographed jersey, thanks to Betting Pros. Okay. The Vikings and the Carolina Panthers. Oh boy. Here's one of these games that you just kind of hold your nose if you're going to bet on it. The number's up to 5 at certain places here with the Vikings on the road. How do you feel about backing Minnesota on the road against anybody in the NFL but the Carolina Panthers today?
I don't feel great about it, but I mean, against a rookie quarterback, Bryce Young, I'm probably going to still back the Vikings here. Look, they've been one of the most unlucky teams after being super lucky last year, so they're just getting smashed by regression that was going to catch up to them. But I think they right the ship here. I think that they're the better team, both on the offensive side of the ball. Brian Flores does enough on defense where he can mix things up, create some turnovers for Bryce Young. Bryce Young just doesn't have any weapons. Like, is Adam Thielen a banged up Miles Sanders? Like, how? I get the Vikings defense is bad, but like, how many points can the Panthers offense actually score with what they have at their disposal? So the Vikings offense is just so good, and I'm not afraid of Carolina's defense whatsoever. Even if they got to score 35 points to win by 5 points because their defense is so bad, I still think the Vikings come away with their first win of the season.
Justin Jefferson props today. Feeling anything on that?
I actually, the one I like the most from a value perspective is actually on Jordan Addison, the rookie receiver of the Vikings. So his is around 40 receiving yards. He's been over 50 every single game this year. So I love the one over on Addison. I mean, Justin Jefferson, it's always like you get 100 yards like easy. So I'm trying to get some more value with the Addison prop.
It's fair. Addison's got drops. That's my fear with him. Is I bet him at times this year, and his drops tick me off. And I'm like, man, you're wide open. Like, come on, dude. The Vikings need help. I do like the Vikings today, though. I don't know if I'd back him laying 5, but I do like him to win the game here. Denver and Chicago, the total, it's up to 47 in this game. I don't fully understand the move on the over. I guess they're thinking Denver's going to score against that really bad defense for the Chicago Bears. Maybe Justin Fields with interceptions. This is as close to a must-win game for Denver as they're going to have, I think, early in the year. They cannot continue this swoon, giving up 70 points last week. Is that the Denver defense that gives up points today, or is it the Bears defense that gives up points today? Because I don't understand the play on the over.
I mean, I think it's the Bears defense. I mean, the Bears have been signing guys off the street to play cornerback, and as bad as Denver's defense has been, their offense has kind of been more mediocre.
Yeah.
The way I like looking at this game is Broncos 1.5 first half spread. Like, they've been a top 10 offense to start the year. Their offense has been really good in the first half. You have them go into the lead in the first half. You stop watching the game. That's the way I want to play this game. First half lead for the Broncos. You get a decent money or a decent odds. I'm trying to see what the most updated one is, but that's the way I like playing it, just on the Denver side. First half spread.
Yeah, I can't touch anything to do with this game. It is a brutal football game. I'm not sure I'll watch a second of it, to be completely honest. I will watch a lot of Baltimore and Cleveland, though, because I got a lot of things rolling here with this game. So in case you have not heard, Deshaun Watson warmed up. He, for whatever reason, cannot play. So we got DTR going. The rookie out of UCLA is going to be starting here for the Cleveland Browns. This number has now flipped. It was Cleveland minus 1.5 or 2. It is now the Ravens who are favored here at 2. With all the injuries to the Ravens, people are saying, wait a minute, why are the Ravens favored on the road against anybody with their offensive line issues and their defensive injuries? Are you okay with the Ravens being the favorite here?
I mean, I like them when they were the underdog. I like them betting them more. So I think I would just take the under. I just don't know, because things are going to get weird with this game because the defense for the Cleveland is so good. So that doesn't really impact, what DTR does on his side of the ball.
Right.
So can he do enough to keep the game within reach? I think it's really just about the defense. So for me, it's just, I know that the number keeps getting bet down. I think it opened 40, now it's 38.5. It's I just don't know if they get over 30 points. Maybe you just do an alternate and just try to get a lot of plus money. It's under 30. How are they going to score points in this game? I just don't see. I don't see it.
No,
so.
I'm with you. So I've done this is every week, every year. There's a week like this in the NFL for me where I tease everything. This is the week for me where I'm teasing everything. So I had already teased the Ravens up. I already taken them up to 8.5. So I feel pretty good about 8.5. I also took the total and teased it up to 45.5. And I took it under. Yeah. So I mean, I like moving numbers anyway, but this is a week where there's so many low totals and there's so many opportunities to move numbers around where we have 1 or 2 one possession lines. So I have plus 8.5. I don't mind plus 2.5. I don't know if I wouldn't lay any more than 2.5. I don't think I'd lay 3 here with the Ravens because Lamar is going to have to be Superman today. He's going to have to do kind of everything himself, and against Myles Garrett and company for that Cleveland defense, that's tough. Do you think, is the Browns defense as good as they have been on paper? Because right now they're the best defense in the NFL. It's not really close.
I think that, it has to do a little bit with who have they played. I mean, you obviously play who you play, but they've totally stomped the offenses they've played. And I wouldn't say that the Ravens offense is in a position where they can overcome an above average defense just based on all their injuries. They have receivers that are hurt. I mean, we're seeing a lot more what was the issue with the Ravens last year on their offense struggle because guys were hurt. So the fact that Linderbaum's back is good, but still Stanley's out, that's bad, especially with Myles Garrett just, wreaking absolute havoc. Just that dude is an absolute monster. So yeah, I think that this game could be like 10-7, 10-7 final with a Justin Tucker. I mean, Justin Tucker might be the key to victory for the Ravens. They may not score a touchdown and they might just win because of field goals.
It's a great point. And maybe Tucker props, Justin Tucker over field goals.
I mean, especially after he missed the field goal last week, I'm sure that he's probably pretty determined to again, it was a 60. It's not like he missed a 35-yard. He missed a 62 yarder.
Right.
But we expect Justin Tucker to hit those because he's just so good.
Yeah. So the Jags, by the way, are lining up for a field goal to go up 23-7 with 2 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. So if you laid the 3 points, you're good. If you teased it up with the Falcons, you're also dead. So this is a good outcome for the books with the teasers, but not a good outcome because I think everyone and their mom was on the Jaguars here with, again, their experiences over in Jacksonville. This is their 9th game at Wembley Stadium, 10th game overall. And they're going to come away with a W. They looked the Falcons looked horrific today. Arthur Smith, I don't know what happened. The offense with Desmond Ridder has been absolutely horrific. Have you watched the Toy Story broadcast at all, Andrew?
I have not. I did not tune into that. Apparently, the pick six was very entertaining from what I was reading on X. That the pick six was pretty fun to watch the characters play out.
Yeah, and some of the moves by Bijan Robinson are being compared to like Michael Vick 2004 Madden. So, I've not seen much of it, but the highlights look pretty cool. If your kids were watching it, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Pittsburgh and Houston, here we go. This is a defense for the Steelers last week that got lit up by obviously one of the best wide receivers in the game, but they won the game. They looked very impressive. Jimmy Garoppolo got a concussion. He's out of the game for the Raiders. More on that later. Rookie quarterback here in CJ Stroud. Questionable offensive line for the Texans, but they took a big step forward last week with their offense and what they did on the road. Is Houston or should the Steelers be on upset alert here today? Because everyone likes the Steelers. And when I start seeing groupthink like that, I go, wait a minute, this is the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, it all just comes down to what does CJ Stroud do when he's under pressure? Because we know he's going to be under pressure. And so far, he's just been a wizard under pressure. He's been making plays off script, but is that sustainable? Usually over a longer sample size, it's usually not, and that usually causes mistakes. So I think I'm still on the Steelers side, but I don't feel confident about it because if you look at the Steelers' last 2 wins, they're 2 wins at 2 games that they probably should have lost. so it's like really hard for just to be really confident and be like, yep, the Steelers they've been this real team. Like both teams have some regression coming for them. So I think for me, it's again another play on the under. Like I'm not really looking for a lot of points in this particular matchup. I've been better with totals anyway so far this year. Just like looking at my record, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stop picking sides. I'm gonna start betting the under because that's where I've been a bit sharper with my picks. So that's kind of my lean here.
Yeah, that's with me in hockey. I mean, I do that with hockey. I mean, I don't bet sides much at all with hockey. I bet totals like constantly. So yeah, I mean, if you find something that's working for you, there's no need to try to put a square peg into a round hole. Just go ahead and do what's working. The skill players for the Texans today and going forward, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Pierce. Well, what do you make of them? Because it feels like they've got the makings of something that if it clicks and the offensive line gets healthy, that the Texans might be a problem in the division.
Yeah, no, I think that we talked about the Texans when I was on the show 2 weeks ago, where we talked about John Harbaugh talked about them playing in week 1. They're like, this is a team that people need to pay attention to. And, he kind of called it earlier. And now everyone's kind of starting to get on board about the Texans where, once this offensive line gets healthy, you're going to see this offense operate at another level. So it's not just CJ Stroud you're going to see a little bit more CJ Stroud when he was operating from a clean pocket at the college level when he was just absolutely dominating as opposed to doing all this stuff off script. So I'm excited about these receivers. Even though I'd like the under in the game, I think that both guys go over because we know where the targets are going. It's going to Tank Dell, it's going to Nico Collins. And the thing with the Steelers is if the pressure doesn't get there, which it won't at some times, it's going to be ripped off for a big play downfield because their secondary, Patrick Peterson, man, that dude is so cooked. Like none of these guys can cover anymore. So they're giving a big plays, and it's going to Nico and it's going to Tank Dell.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll the dice here. People are like, don't start Texan players. I'm like, you know what? I'm starting 3 today on my fantasy team. So I'm starting Tank Dell, I'm starting Nico Collins, and I'm starting Dameon Pierce. And let's see what they do. Running the ball might be difficult, but I think that there could be an opportunity for play action here and potentially opening up the running game with the pass for the Texans. I think the Steelers are in trouble. Second game back to back on the road, roadie to Vegas, and now a roadie back to Texas. I'll be curious to see what they look like here today and what the offense looked like, because the offense has not been great for the Steelers so far. Rams, Colts. This is a game for all record to be. I'm always transparent. I'm 0-3 on Wong teasers. I have no idea what the hell's going on. It's been bad break after bad break on these things. So I'm giving out these Wong teasers, but this is the game that I am identifying. It qualifies. We may go with it to take the Colts from +1 up to +7 against the Rams. Colts today. How do you feel about Indianapolis at home?
I like the over. I like the over in this game. It's in a dome. It's again, Anthony Richardson is back. Look, Matthew Stafford in this offense got slowed down last week, but the Colts secondary is horrible. Like it is so bad. They're a pass funnel defense, and Sean McVay is like sick. Like I don't have to run the football. That's great. Like more pass attempts for me. So this is one of the games that I actually like the over on. Like we talked about at the beginning, it's like there's so many low totals. Like all these games are gross. This game to me is one of them, hey, sneaky shootout potentially. So I like the over here with a lot of these players.
It opened up at 45.5. It was bet down to 44 before it came back up. So we're now at 44.5, pretty much painted. Consensus, some places are at 45, but pretty much 44.5 is the number that you're going to see right now. And some places have already gone to pick here. There's some money coming in here on the Colts. And I don't mind that. Even taking the +1, I don't mind that, but for us to qualify here, it's still +1. DraftKings has it at +1, so it qualifies with a 45 total. Richardson looked really good before he got the concussion, so I'll be very curious to see what he looks like against a Rams team. And I know it's Aaron Donald, but you got a chance to use his mobility and get away from pressure. I don't like the Rams at all. I really have a tough time until they get Cooper Kupp back. I'm not a very big. I don't like the Rams. I don't like their offense. I don't like what I'm seeing at all. A lot of people like Tampa today. They're on the road. They're catching 4 now against the New Orleans Saints. The total of this game is 41. This may be one of the more uglier games of the entire day. But where are you on Baker in this offense? Because they've taken a big step backwards after a pretty nice start.
Yeah, I think that they're being exposed as like one of these fake teams that got lucky in the first 2 weeks. They faced the Bears and they faced the Vikings, like two teams that are both 0-3. Like those are the teams that they've beaten. So it's like, how good is this team really? We're going to give them 4 against the Saints on the road. Look, the thing with the Buccaneers is how they scored on offense. Mike Evans, he has scored 75% of their offensive touchdowns. What do the Saints have that can take away Mike Evans? Marshawn Lattimore. Like they have the one guy that can stop the only guy that's putting up points on the Buccaneers offense.
There's a rivalry there where Lattimore's in his head. So
I mean,
not only is it talent, but it's also a personal thing.
It's a net win if Lattimore gets Mike Evans ejected from the game. Like it doesn't, like it's better if they both don't even play for the Saints than for the Buccaneers. So I think that, especially how hot Evans has been, he's going to cool off. I think that he's going to have a down game. That means the Bucs offense is going to have a down game. And I think with Derek Carr, Jameis Winston, whoever ends up playing, I think it is Carr right now.
Yes.
I think they can just do enough to come away with the win at home. So I don't like it from the 4 points is not great. I liked it when it was more at 3, obviously, when they said that Winston was going to be the starter. But still for me, I can't. Baker Mayfield on the road after what we saw from him last week against like legitimate defense. I'm taking the Saints.
Jaguars have won the game, so they will stay. I think they're staying there when they play the Bills next week. So I think they're just staying over there with the little vacay over across the pond. Washington and Philadelphia. Here we go. I definitely thought about using this game for a Wong teaser, but it's up to 9.5 or 9 at certain books right now. There's a lot of money coming here on the Eagles. Washington has been. Sam Howell looked bad. I mean, let's be frank. He did not look good at all last week against the Bills. They got shredded at home. Philly go off today?
I think so. I mean, Sam Howell, what he doesn't do well is exactly what the Eagles excel at. Like their defensive line is so good. They're going to be bringing pressure. And Sam Howell just sits back there and just eats sacks and it just kills drives. Like if the Eagles have any sort of time of possession advantage, like that Commanders defense is going to be on the field the entire game. And they're going to have no responses to the Eagles' rushing attack, or if the Eagles decide we're going to throw it today. Like, the Eagles can beat you in so many different ways that even if the Commanders keep it close in the first half. And I think, too, the Eagles remember when the Commanders beat them last year when they were undefeated. Like, they didn't forget that. So I think that even as heavy favorites, I still think the Eagles at home, I think they still cover the big spread here.
So here is the other game for the Wong teaser that I'm eyeballing that we'll do before we get out of here. So Colts +1 up to +7. Titans could be teased up from 2.5 to 8.5 here. And the Bengals, look, this number at 2.5, I don't like the Bengals offense at all. And I know that the Titans can't stop the pass. I totally understand that their pass defense is horrific. But this offense is looking very pedestrian with the injury to Joe Burrow. And if they can run the ball and keep the ball away, I know the defense looked really good for the Bengals last week. Where are you on Titans Bengals?
You know, I opened up very strongly for the Bengals because I wasn't as down on their offense, and Joe Burrow was taken off the injury report. But like the way the Titans just seemingly always rise to the occasion whenever they get written off, like that's just what they always do. It's like a team that you have to just totally erase from your mind what they did the week before, because what they're going to do this week is going to be totally different, because Mike Vrabel just is able to get so much out of a lackluster, talented team that Derrick Henry, you could see him having a massive game versus going last week where he basically did nothing. So again, for me, it's just give me the under. Like, it's just give me the under, because I don't like the close spread, and it all depends on how healthy Burrow is. And to me, he seems like he's more healthy, but I'm not a doctor. Like, I'm not in there looking at his ankle, knowing what's actually up there. So I know that they can pass the ball on the Titans. They should be able to do that, but how will that pass rush affect? How will the calf hold up? So for me, I think that until the Bengals really show it to me on their offensive side of the ball, I think it's just to lean to the under, where the Titans thrive in under. Like, that's what they want to live. They want to win with the under and keep the game close and dirty. So I think maybe the Bengals win, but wouldn't be surprising if it's by 1 point. Titans cover.
It's crazy. There really aren't that many games that factor in that qualify for Wong teasers. This game does qualify for it. Even with the low totals, the numbers are starting to creep over 3 to 4. We're seeing a lot of movement here before kick. To the late slate we go. Las Vegas on the road at the LA Chargers. I haven't heard who actually is playing quarterback for the Raiders.
So it is Aiden O'Connell, which I think that's smart for them to do. I mean,
it is.
We've seen Brian Hoyer play. Like, Brian Hoyer, the last 2 games he's played, he's been benched in. Like, that tells you all you need to know about Brian Hoyer. So yeah, I like the over in this game too. I think Aiden O'Connell is actually a decent quarterback.
But first start on the road. I know there's a lot of black in the building. Okay.
But is it really on the road though?
It's not. I agree. It's not. And he looked great in the preseason. Okay. AOC, I'm good. Okay. I mean, there's a lot of people here in Vegas who were very high and very happy about this kid out of Purdue who threw a ton of passes in college, put up big numbers in the Big Ten, now in the preseason. But I've seen this too often, Andrew, where you have a rookie quarterback coming in. He's not taking first team reps all year. He's asked to run an offense. I know it's just go ahead and throw the ball up to the best receiver in the game, and Devontae Adams. I understand that, but handling pressure, handling different coverages. Brandon Staley's supposed to be a defensive guy. I know Bosa. I get it. You got issues on that defense right now for the Chargers. The Raiders defense is awful. It's really bad. It's really bad. I teased this down. That's the other side of my teaser. I took the Ravens to +8.5. I took the Chargers down to a pick and just need them to win the football game. And I'm going against a rookie quarterback starting on the road. I can't see Herbert and company losing this game. Can you?
I mean, if there's any team that could potentially lose this game, it would be the Chargers, because that's just what they do. That's very pro Chargers, very on brand. I guess the thing for me when it comes to the over is how bad. Yes, the Raiders defense is bad. Like, the Chargers are going to put up points, no doubt.
Yep.
But with the Raiders side of things, like, the Chargers can't generate pressure. So even if it is a rookie quarterback playing on the road, if he's operating from a clean pocket, which the Raiders have been really good at this year, has been keeping a clean pocket for Jimmy Garoppolo, that he's going to be able to rip this defense to shreds. Like, this defense is so bad on the Chargers side of the ball because he's going to have time to throw. And like you said, he's got Devontae, he's got Jacoby, he's got Josh Jacobs. Like, he's got elite weapons. So even if it's him distributing the ball, who on the Chargers defense is going to stop these receivers? I don't see anybody. Whoever Asante Samuel's not covering is going to be open. Like, that's the way I see it. So that's why, again, in a dome, another game where this is where I want to lean towards the over. And
Yeah, Josh Jacobs rushing 73.5. I wouldn't do it. The Raiders have not committed to the run for whatever reason. They just really, I think they'll throw the ball. Like Andrew just said, I think they'll be throwing the ball a lot more. I like Justin Herbert over 281.5 yards passing. How do you feel about him to go off here throwing the ball against this Raiders secondary?
Since Austin Eckler has basically been out of the lineup, they have had zero interest whatsoever in trying to run the football. Like all they want to do is throw it. They have the highest neutral pass game script. Like that's all they're going to do is throw the ball. And it's Keenan Allen, like 20 targets. You know, they're going to get Quentin Johnson a little bit more involved today. Josh Palmer. I like the tight ends. Some of the tight ends have really low player props. Like Gerald Everett. He had 6 catches last week. Like he's going to play a lot in this game. And the Raiders defense, oh my God, they run this 2 cover high shell where the underneath options are always open. So I could think that Gerald Everett, I think his props like 30 receiving yards. Like it's really, really low. So if you want to parlay with Herbert over adding some of his receivers, I think makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I like Herbert over 281.5. I think he's going to go and throw all over this Raiders defense. So I like him to win. I think the Raiders defense is just, they thought they were going to have Chandler Jones. They cut him this week due to all the issues he's been having. We hope he gets okay. I mean, it's been a scary thing here in Vegas to watch what he's been running around and doing. And I don't know if he'll play in the league again, but your Max Crosby needs somebody else on the other side. Otherwise, you just shade coverage over and you can take away Max Crosby, and there's nobody else really for the Raiders on a pass rushing perspective. So, and I don't like their secondary at all. Even with Mike Williams being out with the ACL injury, I still think you're going to see a big game in the passing game for the Chargers today. And that's why I think you're probably right with the over. It's probably a decent play to come in with the over on this. I'm just concerned about the Raiders not scoring with a new quarterback. The Patriots are on the road at Dallas. This total now is down to 42.5 at the Superbook. This is crazy. I'm on the under. Yes, Jay, I'm on the under. I bet under 43.5. If you can find the 43s, jump on it because we're going to 42. If you are in Vegas, the South Point still here in Vegas is at 43, but our friends down south are all at 43, and Superbook here is already at 42.5. Can the Patriots score, Andrew?
I don't know. They just don't have any explosive playmakers. Now they're talking about playing Zeke more. Like, come on. Like, this is ridiculous. So
isn't that a head fake? I saw Schefter's report. I was like, that's a head fake. I mean, when does Belichick ever report anything about usage of running backs?
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. But in the way that I see it is, so I've heard that they're doing a video for Ezekiel Elliott because he's coming back. So he's probably going to start the game because it's a gesture of, hey, like, this is your old team. You're going to get the start this week. But like, after the first drive, like, we're putting Ramondre back in the game. Like, so yeah. And if they get at the goal line, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. They would probably give the ball to Zeke. But besides that, I don't think it's going to be the Ezekiel Elliott show where he's running the ball 25 times. And, you know, I've heard that he's more looking forward to the working in pass pro against Micah Parsons. Like that's what I've heard about Zeke. So maybe he's playing a lot, but it's probably more in pass pro.
I think Dak throws a pick against this Patriots secondary. How do you feel about Dak?
I would agree. They're pressing, especially in the red zone. Like their red zone offense has been a mess. And I think that Dak's going to try to put the ball in a spot that maybe isn't there. And that's where the Patriots take advantage.
Yeah, that's another prop that I like a lot. I like that to come in. We'll get. I forgot the other one with the Tua game, with the Dolphins game. We'll go back to that before we get out of here. Everyone in Survivor, there are 2,000 or so, 2,200 people left in the $8 million Circus Survivor. I think it's $9 million Circus Survivor here in Las Vegas. Half of the contest is on the 49ers here today against the Arizona Cardinals. Half. Is there any way you can imagine the Cardinals beating the Niners on the road today?
No, because the Cardinals got their Cinderella win last week against Dallas, and this, the 49ers are going to be prepared because they know this team just beat Dallas. Like, we can't look at this team as like, oh, they're going to roll over, even though they're going to get destroyed. I'm taking the 49ers even with the 14.
You're laying the 14?
Yeah.
Wow.
Kyle Shanahan kills teams.
He does.
He kills teams.
And he kills them. Here's the thing, though. I think the Cardinals, what happens if they don't play Debo?
It's just going to be McCaffrey. It's going to be
Kittle.
Ayuk. It's going to be George Kittle. Like,
Ayuk's
whenever one of those
too,
guys misses.
Ayuk's hurt too.
He'll be okay.
I don't know. I think the Niners might I think they win the game. But if you want to tease, you can talk me into teasing up to 20 and taking the Cardinals plus 20.
Cardinals plus 20.
You 20 points in the NFL. 20 points in the NFL. It's a lot of points.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like the gambler in me is like, I don't care who it is. Give me 20 points in the NFL. It's 20 points. They play hard. Dobbs and company look pretty good on offense. I mean, I know it's the Niners. I just wonder how motivated are they going to be? And can we get a backdoor, potentially lose by 17 or something like that? And maybe they cover the 14, but you can talk me into teasing the Cardinals to 20. I don't think that's a horrible play. But man, if the Cardinals win today, holy Christmas, are we going to see a ton of people crying about their survivor picks. Anthony Richardson over 19.5 completions and under 45.5 yards rushing. The rushing number worries me because of the pass rush, right?
And because he's coming off a concussion. Like, you don't know, like, maybe they just don't dial him up as much as rushing.
Don't want him. That's a good theory, yeah.
That's one of the things I want to see, especially at the goal line. It's like, oh, is it going to be QB sneak or is it going to be, oh, Zach Moss, like, we're going to give you the rushing touchdown. So that I wouldn't pull the trigger on rushing props with Richardson, just his first game back from the concussions. And I don't love the completions either because he's just not an accurate passer. Like, I'd rather just take over on his yardage.
Yeah, right. He'll probably want to go deep shots. That's true. Let's see. I got a 1 p.m. 40 burger Waddle, 40 yards receiving, Cook, 40 yards rushing. I'm going to do the Al Bundy when I cash the 40 burger. Cook over 40 yards rushing. Is that the one that bites him?
I don't think so. I mean, I like those are both. I think he's good. He should be good.
All
maybe right. Maybe the Waddle one. I don't know. No,
Waddle's done really well against the Bills. Waddle's numbers against the Bills are pretty good.
Yeah, I think those are both good. Should be good.
So we feel like that. And then the final game that we'll get to is Kansas City. This number is been ping-ponging all over the place. It's been as high as 9.5. It is down to 8. Some books are at 7.5. Circa here in Vegas is at 7.5. This is crazy. The total is 41.5. Are the Jets live tonight to do this? Because I'm going to be honest. I love football. I hate this Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce BS. I am so over it. I am so done with this nonsense. And yet to watch this game, I'm going to have to watch a static shot of Taylor Swift nonstop, fake cheering for her fake boyfriend.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see the viewership numbers for this Sunday Night Football game because it's going to be probably bonkers. Now every Taylor Swiftie is now tuning in to watch football, watch Travis Kelce. So,
according to Nathan Hubbard, who hosts a podcast on The Ringer with Nora Princiotti called Every Single Album, he put this out on social media on Thursday that the highest watched Sunday Night Football game ever was 30.1 million. That's your number to watch. Can they break 30 million people watching this? And I think they actually can with the number of people that are non-football people who are going to tune in to watch this game on Sunday night.
Yeah, but back to the game itself, Chiefs. Yeah, Jets don't stand. I mean, our favorite prop this week on the show was under Zach Wilson passing props. It's like 177.5. It's crazy because you think that number is so low, and you look at what he's done. He's under that number in 8 of his last 10 games.
That's right now. The only bet I've got on the game is that because I bet it last week. It's the same. It's almost. You just bet it every week. He cannot throw.
And he may not even finish the game. Like, if Trevor Siemian is active in this game and he's getting booed, I would not surprise me if it's like, hey, he doesn't even come out as a starter in the second half. If they're just doing absolutely nothing on offense. It's like, what is Robert Saleh going to do? He's just going to just sit there and just like keep playing this guy that can't play. Like, you got to make a move, dude. So, is
there a number that is too low for you to bet this from a passing perspective for Wilson?
I mean, I think if we dip into like the 160, 165, that's probably where I'm probably going to, because
171. I think I bet under 177.5 last week against the Patriots. 171 now against the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still probably going to take the under. I just like the only way that you get lost is if Garrett Wilson rips off like an 80-yard touchdown because he just does all the work. Like that's how it doesn't work. It's not like he's going to actually matriculate down the field because he's actually more of a threat, honestly, rushing the ball. Like when he scrambles, like that's actually how the Jets move the football versus him actually dropping back to throw. So yeah, I think that's a great
Mahomes. The only way the Chiefs lose this game is if Mahomes has the worst game of his history in his history in the league. He has to have the worst game so far. He has to throw like 3 picks in this game.
And the thing with the Jets defense, yes, okay, they're gonna limit him at times, but if you give Mahomes so many opportunities, then it's not gonna matter because Mahomes knows that again, the Chiefs defense is also really good too. So it'd be one thing if the Chiefs had a bad defense, like, all right, Zach Wilson, maybe he can move the ball. It's like, dude, I don't know if he's going to move the ball at all. So with no threat on the other side of the ball, kind of like last week when the Patriots played the Jets, at no point did I ever think that the Jets were ever going to score on offense. Like,
Yeah.
I was never threat. So even though the Patriots kept punting, I was like, well, eventually they'll just, they'll wait him out and get the win. So I think we'll see something similar here, but the Chiefs can score much more than Pats.
All right, my 4-player props, we mentioned one of them with Zach Wilson under 171.5 passing yardage. Dak Prescott to throw a pick at plus 102. Justin Herbert over 281.5 passing yards. And the only one I didn't mention was Tua over 22.5 completions here against the Bills. How do you feel about Tua?
I think it's good. I mean, people are going to point at, oh, well, the Bills got 9 sacks last week. And I'm like, guys, like Sam Howell holds on to the ball forever. Tua gets the ball out in like a nanosecond.
Yep.
Like it's totally different. So you can't copy and paste what the Bills were able to put on pressure-wise from last week because Tua just gets the ball out so quick. Like it doesn't even matter. And now that he has Waddle back, they're using the running backs in the receiving game. That's just an easy way to pick up completions. Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, if you don't like it, a Mostert anytime touchdown also is a decent bet as well in this game. I think that's probably a play that you could make as well. I just think the dinking, the dunk, I think this is going to be a lot of slants. Get the football out. Don't hold on to it. Don't allow any Buffalo Bill defenders to really get hits on Tua because they're going to blitz the holy hell out of him. They're going to get after him. They're going to try to hit him. Tua has not been hit really at all this year so far consistently. The Bills, I think, will try. I think that's just going to enable a lot of quick strike offensive passes coming out from Tua. That's why I like the over 22.5. Yeah. All right. So before we get
it's a volume game, I think is a way to approach it. Like a lot of passing attempts, so a lot of receptions, not necessarily yardage necessarily, but that's what I'd be looking at with some of these players in this game.
I am 0-3 doing this. So I have not hit one of these yet. Okay.
So you're due. You're due.
I'm due. Somebody told me before I opened up 0-2 last year. I ended up 12-4. Okay. So now I'm 0-3. So let's see. Maybe I get on a hot streak here, but I'm going to back the Colts. I'm going to take them up to a +7 at home. I'm going to take home dogs. Colts +7, Titans +8.5. It qualifies for a long teaser here. I think you got home teams. And actually, if you wait, maybe we might get over 7.5. Okay. The Rams are +1.5, are going to go to -1.5, it looks like. So let's go to 7.5. That's great. You get over 7 now. You get Indianapolis +7.5. And this is the beauty of our waiting. And we're at 2.5 here. The books want to go to 3 for the Bengals. They just haven't pulled the trigger on it. Superbook's at -2.5 at -120. So is Caesars. So is DraftKings. Because the pros are going to take the +3 with the Titans. If it goes to 3, the pro money's coming in on the Titans. This is going to be a fascinating game to watch. I'm just going to go ahead and tease it up to 8.5. +8.5 at home for the Titans. +7.5 for the Colts. Which leg beats me, Andrew?
I would probably say the Colts. if there was going to beat the Colts. Titans, though, the Titans are going to keep it. Yeah. I think you're all set with the Titans.
They're at home. Your favorite prop bet of the day is what before we go?
Jordan Addison, still like the one. He's done it in all 3 straight of his games. I would have said the Bijan Robinson one, but he's already hit that one. So we're already 1 for 1 on the day. Jordan Addison over, I think it's 40.5 receiving yards. I like that one today.
Very cool. Download the free BettingPros app to track your plays, follow experts, top-rated bettors, hot streaks, and get instant notifications when new bets are placed. You can customize your notifications by sport, including today, where you get alerts for bets that interest you. You can even limit those alerts to only you get historical ROI positive markets from bettors that you follow. Take advantage of those features and more during the games today by downloading the BettingPros app, by visiting bettingpros.com/apps, or by searching BettingPros in the App Store. Andrew, good stuff. Best of luck on your plays. We'll catch up in a couple of weeks. All right.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
That's Andrew Erickson. I am Matt Perrault. We're back next week, every single Sunday at noon Eastern here on the Betting Pros YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification so you know when we go live on our betting days, Saturday, Sunday, all of our live streams here on the Betting Pros YouTube channel. Best of luck, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.